Tabletop Stimulator. So, welcome to Tabletop Stimulator. This is Sean Spieler.
I am Jim, also known as Jim.
Yeah. I am Dan, also known as Dan.
Brilliant. Then we proceed into what we've already recorded.
Yeah.
I think this should go at the start.
Yeah, I'm going to put it at the start, yeah.
And at the end,
sense.
what are we going to say at the end?
I'm just going to cut to that, us doing the Jurassic Park theme tune going out.
I think that's a great idea.
Cool.
Okay, well...
Are we ready?
Yeah.
You concentrating, Dan?
Yeah,
You focus.
Just hang on a minute. I'm just making sure my airline is running smoothly.
Oh, yeah, you're a gamer addicted. What's
I
it
think
called?
you definitely need to put that in.
Yeah.
Airline Tycoon.
Airline Tycoon.
I sold a load of Reach yesterday. I restructured, reorganised. I had to lay off 1,000 people.
Are you a director?
I own the company, mate. I'm CEO.
Oh, nice.
The major
How
problem.
many people did you have to lay off?
I can't make JFK profitable.
85%.
85%. You're no longer making rockets.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Okay.
Is this episode 1?
Episode 2, surely.
I thought the other one was a pilot. Does it still count as 1?
Well,
It still only counts as 1.
people listen to it. You know, it wasn't like
We had more than 10 listeners.
We did, yeah.
We've had more than 20 listeners.
Yep.
So this is a go.
close to 100 listeners. Wow.
Are we viral?
No, I don't think it counts
Just
as
the
viral.
common cold at the moment, or are we just a sniffle?
We're early COVID. We're only in Wu-Tang.
With that peppery feeling you get at the back of your throat when you know you've got a cold coming.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I can dodge it. Okay, so we're going to have structure because it's not going to have to take me 3 weeks to edit it.
Yeah, we could do with this being out before 10th edition.
Yeah, well, we're going to try, okay? Aim for the stars.
Oh, it is, just so everyone knows, it's the 31st of March when we're recording. So that means you can, each time we do an episode, I reckon we should name the date and see how quick Sean can edit it. Shows how efficient we're getting.
Yeah.
Because it's not about how good he is at editing, it's how good we are at not talking rubbish.
Yeah, but he'll just be sneaky. You'll come in every day and be like, "Oh, what's the date?" And we'll say it. And we'll just edit those snippets in until he's happy with it.
Yeah, until one gets released and it was recorded in the future.
Yeah.
Because we got the date wrong. Well, I think we've already added too much waffle, haven't we?
Oh, damn it. So what should we should we start with? 10th is the easy topic to start about, I suppose, to get the juices flowing. But anything we talk about would probably be out of date. What do you think of the new unit cards?
Me? Yeah, they're basically more AOS-ified than before. So I find it quite exciting from that respect because I mean I've enjoyed AOS from the start, which I think we talked about that last time.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed AOS since it came out, and it's taken 3 editions of AOS for 40k to get almost to the level that it is. Yeah, I like it. I think I like the unit strength thing. That seems like it could be quite interesting, depending on whether there's a big variation in numbers on it and stuff like that. If it just is 1s and 2s, then that's rubbish. But there could be more, or whether there's ways of doubling your count or something. That looks quite good. I like that you've no longer got weapon skill, ballistic skill, and it's just on the weapon. And some people might not like that, but I think it's good because if you've got like weapons with inbuilt modifiers like power fists and things like that, or thunder hammers or whatever that are -1s, they've no longer got a minus applied to them. They've just got a different stat, which means that if modifiers apply roughly the same as they do in 9th edition, then they'll have more of an effect. So if you're giving someone a -1 to hit, but they've already got a -1 because they're wearing a power fist, it doesn't matter. But all of a sudden you could have a power fist and it might mean you hit on 5s instead of 3s or something. And that's actually quite a big effect. So I like stuff like that.
It's simplification, right? Because I'm looking at a data card now because they released that Termagant one, didn't they? Mm-hmm. And the fact they've split ranged and melee out to make it easier for people to read. And then the abilities being on the right-hand side with the faction, like an AOS card, right? The data card. And it looks good. And I, for one, am massively in favour of it.
I'm gonna say the issue with these is going to be the same issue that they've got with War Scroll cards. When they switch to second edition, they kind of, I don't know whether they made the cards smaller, but they definitely made the print smaller. So my concern is that they're going to be making small cards to make them more manageable to use, but then they'll be full of information and you won't be able to read them. And like anyone who's ever played like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or looked at a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card will know that you have to be like massively short-sighted to be able to actually read anything that's on those cards, because the text is so small. So that is going to be my gripe. And
they need to be accessible.
Yeah, whether they'll do more than one print run of them as well is a big issue.
And also, when they're out of date, are they going to make a new digital version that you can download?
Well, I guess it makes sense. It makes sense if they are going as digital as it seems like, which is obviously from what we said last time is a sensible way of going.
They obviously listened.
They must have listened to our podcast and changed all their plans within a week.
Makes sense.
If they are doing that, then clearly they could just update it in the app straight away.
They've simplified the way you pick your army now, right?
The quote that was released yesterday.
Yeah, the website is army selection is equally straightforward. Pick a faction, a warlord, and the units you like. Just no more than 3 of any type, and stay within your points limit. That's it. So it is become a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. It's even like Arcs of Omen was pretty easy, but now that they basically got rid of all the different troop types, and the only thing that's really going to be relevant is whether you're a character
or battle line,
or whatever the new version of unique character was, Epic Hero. So Epic Hero is like your special character or whatever. It seems sensible. I like it, and it still gives them the option for tournament play, for match play, add in more depth if they need to. But this can be the kind of starter line for a normal casual game of 40k.
I mean, I've not seen this, but it said Codex will return in place.
Yeah.
In time to replace the free rules. But when they do, the complexity of the game won't increase, thanks to the one in, one out ethos for army and sub-faction rules. Effectively, you will only ever need your unit data sheets. The 2 pages of rules that govern your chosen army, available in your codex, on cards or digitally, plus the core rules or whatever mission you're playing.
Yeah, I'm going to say with that, that's no different to any other edition. Like when a new codex comes out, it replaces the old one. Yeah. How is that any different? They're making it sound like... I know what they're trying to say is that a new codex isn't going to add complexity to your army, but really a new codex never has. It's just brought it up to date with the new edition, and it's the edition that's been complicated, not the codex.
Are they implying then that it will remain free digitally, but if you want to buy a codex, you can? Or are they saying that we're going to do it to start with because this is it?
When I read it, I wouldn't say it definitively says when a new codex comes out, you'll get all that information for free. It says you get it for free on launch, and it says it will be available digitally, and you'll be able to get it on day one or whatever as soon as the new rules drop. But it's possible you might have to be subscribed to the app, because I'm sure it says something about the app in there.
Well,
or there might be a new 40k app coming.
It's the whole kind of like the Fortnite model for tabletop gaming, right?
Yeah, but even if you have to subscribe, like to be able to get it all for free, it's going to be cheaper than buying every single book, and you'll get every single book.
It might encourage people to do that whole, a bit like the Game Pass thing, right? It's you've got access to all these games that you wouldn't go and buy normally, but you go and try them. Yeah, so you might try another army because you think I could buy the Combat Patrol box, quickly whip up 500 points, and be good to go.
Yeah, and talking about Combat Patrol, actually, I quite like that they're doing a game mechanic for Combat Patrol where they're all balanced against each other.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how that works, whether they'll get different faction special rules to balance it I don't know.
So are they going to make the previously released Combat Patrols balance, or are they going to release new Combat Patrols?
No. There's an innovative way that they've done it, but they haven't actually said what it is.
Yes, it says, as well as continuous support for Crusade and match play, the new edition will introduce a brand new way to play the game, Combat Patrol. But that's going to be easier to play, right? It's almost like a mini game version of 40k, a bit like Kill Team.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I was talking to someone about this the other day, and the idea of having a shop copy of each Combat Patrol, so that we can try the armies out, it did come up, but still, that's like hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of models. It's quite a lot of painting to do.
Yeah,
and stuff.
It says.
So I don't know whether I'll actually do it.
Yeah, they simplify.
Carl will do it.
The simplified version, you will do all of it.
We shouldn't mention names, but Carl is lovely. Everybody loves him.
We love Carl.
The simplified version of Warhammer 40,000 is perfect for beginners, but also means that anyone starting a new force has a game that they can begin to play very quickly without having to build a 2,000 points of troops before a dice is even rolled. It's also great for hobby butterflies who hop from one project to the next and prefer to sample a little of each army's nectar. You're going to have all of these, aren't you, Sean?
Probably.
Looking at what I've seen so far, this will be the thing that I want to play because it seems more skirmishy and quick in and out. Because it was the complexity of...
That's what you love, isn't it?
I do love a quick in and out.
Skirmish.
Yeah.
Didn't they say that the main rules will be focused on incursion, strike, and onslaught?
Yes, Combat Patrol has got a modified rule set, I think, whether it's just simplified, but then Boarding Patrol still exists as well.
But from your point of view, I guess that if Combat Patrol becomes its own new game, that's a great tournament thing to have.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of people turn up, quick games.
If you can play a Combat Patrol game in an hour, you could run and obviously it's not going to take up a lot of space on a table.
No.
Like even in here, I could easily run over 60 player event for it.
Because when you think about the fact that the 1,000-point tournaments have become quite popular because they're...
Yeah, they've been really popular here. Yeah, people get a lot of fun out of them.
I didn't.
Sean got fun out of a quarter of his day, I think.
The bit where he left.
Should we have a quick chat about that, Sean? It won't take long because you didn't do much, did you?
No.
So we had a tournament here last weekend.
Well, if we give him a second for every point that he earned, do it that way from his objectives.
We better stop then. We've had too much.
Done. Right. Well done, Sean.
Yeah.
So 10th edition.
What else have they talked about?
I'm just looking at how to pick your army, the picking the units thing.
So they've cut down on the stratagems.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's meant to be
6?
less. Oh, that's the other thing, actually. They talk about you pick a type of detachment, and one of them was like a gladiator one or something, or gladius. So...
Yeah, Gladius Task Force of the Adeptus Astartes.
So it sounds like there's going to be multiple detachment types you can take. Yeah. So these are kind of like...
It's like armies of renown.
In 7th edition 40k, there was formations you could take, and it was like, if you take 3 Vindicators, you get this bonus rule.
Yeah.
It might be that kind of thing.
So it says, here's where the difference begins to show themselves. Instead of choosing a sub-faction or constructing your own, you now choose a single set of detachment rules for your whole army, whilst your detachment gives you access to 6 unique strategies on top of the core group of main rules. And then you have to then pick your combat doctrines and things like that. So it really is...
Yeah. I mean, by the time this has come out, we'll probably actually know what that means. But it's quite interesting. But yeah, no, it seems quite interesting because it's not like your Space Marines, this is it. It's like... Each army will have multiple detachments. You might find when it first drops, there's not many options, but then when the codexes drop, that's when the options start coming in.
I think this is what's interesting. So it's got a graphic here. It's got at least one character, max of 1 epic hero, up to 3 of the same data sheet, and up to 6 of the same battle line or dedicated transport. And then at least 1 character. But then when you go down further, it's got a picture of a chaplain on a bike.
He's your warlord, yeah.
And they're saying that he's the warlord, but wouldn't your epic hero, like if you picked Bobby G?
Oh, it depends. Some of them might say, like, for example, Bobby G you might have to take him as your warlord. It might say on his new data sheet, he has to be your warlord.
But if you had like Necrons and you had a Catan, then they can't be your warlord, but they would be the epic hero.
Yeah, if it's the Nightbringer.
Yeah, so it says you now choose 1 character as your leader. They gain the warlord keyword, and you're ready to select your missions. 500-point games are still possible, but I think they're really leaning towards that. Well, that Combat Patrol rule set is going to be a whole little other game itself.
If they make it so that there are no restrictions, so there's no when I say restrictions, I mean no, you don't have to take any battle line. That likely means then that battle line are really important
because they've got rid of power ratings now, haven't they, as well?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, they got rid of power ratings on day 1 because they never did anything.
I mean, when you ran the...
Here every week.
So it says the army rosters are going to be obviously downloadable and you can build them in the new app. The new app.
Yeah, so this is it's another thing to download, isn't it?
But you can uninstall the
Why
old
are
shit.
they not just updating the current one? I know what we'll do. We didn't like the old one. It had loads of people being negative about it. So we're going to pay another company to make another bad app for us. That's what they're doing. That's what I'd do.
What will happen is this.
Just chuck money at it.
I'll go to build a list on Battlescribe and it will say we no longer exist. And then we'll open up the new Warhammer app and it'll be Battlescribe.
It'll be called Scribe Battle.
Scribe Battle, Warhammer Edition. Scribe. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not actually a big fan of Battlescribe. It's good because it's free and it tells you all the information. But I think it does feel like I'm 20 years in the past when I use it.
I liked it because it explained everything that I needed to know on it.
Yeah.
Because for me, that was always the bit.
But now that they've made if they do make everything free, which is clearly the way that you deal with all these websites and sharing places where people just like photocopy all the books and share them. If you make it all free, then why would anyone bother with that? Or you don't have to worry about it, you know. But if they make it all free and their app's half decent, no one's going to use Battlescribe for it, are they?
Because I started with their app, because Custodes was my first 40k army. And I bought the Custodes codex and I put the code in, and then I went to add my Achilles, and it's like, oh, you need to buy the Armour of Content
that
book
really
as well.
Bothered me. Yeah, because I never had that book.
Fuck you! And then Battlescribe was like, oh, it's all in now. So then I switched.
Yeah, I know they've got a habit of. I don't think it's greed. I think it's like they've got some people who work there who are stuck in like the 90s or something.
I think it's just,
and they're like, well, we're not letting them have that for free. It's like, just let them have it. They'll buy the models.
But then, I mean, look at a lot of the other game systems, and I think we touched on this last time. A lot of other game systems, their rules are free, bits and pieces like that are free, and they make the money on the models or the extra bits and pieces. I mean, Games Workshop
have got money on the models. Games Workshop definitely.
Yeah, I mean, they've got this lockdown right. It's got a massive player base. Well, everyone's excited for 10th. I haven't spoken to anyone yet who's gone, oh no, it looks rubbish. It's like, well, actually, if they're going to simplify it, make it easier, and because that's the thing, right? It's lowering the barrier to entry. Because 9th was the first time I ever played Warhammer, and it felt like a lot.
We all know what my main issue with 10th edition is going to be, and that's the fact that as someone who sells their product for them, I'm not going to know anything before anyone else.
Yeah, that is
that really bothers me when I know that there are. I understand that there's playtesters out there that need to know the rules to be able to play it and stuff, but there's other people out there that can capitalise on it, and I'm the one who's actually selling the product for them, and it really annoys me. It's like, I don't know. I just expect too much. I should just shut up.
But we see it with like some of the like YouTube channels that get the books like a week or so before.
Yeah.
And so they've already painted up the models and promoting the rules.
Yeah.
And we haven't even ordered yet. And I was like, send me the Necromunda books, Games Workshop. I'll promote your Necromunda books.
You've definitely got the best Necromunda channel out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I say that. I haven't looked for any others because I've only ever watched yours because yours is so good.
Well, once you find the best, you don't need to go anywhere else. Right?
Exactly.
Precisely.
We haven't actually mentioned your channel, Dash Bill Canal.
Dash Bill Canal.
Not another wargaming channel. No, just another.
The sister channel, Burt Cataract.
Burt Cataract, yeah, that hasn't hit off yet.
Songs from the Necromunda universe.
I'm going to start. I'm going to need to compile more songs together.
I love that one. If you want some entertaining music, definitely go to Sean's YouTube channel and listen to some of his Necromunda videos. Right, I don't want to offend any Horus Heresy players here. Right? But I'm going to.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I apologise. I'm not trying to belittle you or anything like that. But these people don't like change.
No.
Right? They liked the fact that their game system was 7th edition 40k and not 8th edition or 9th edition 40k. Because they like arguing over where templates are, moaning about which direction the scatter dice go in, and all this kind of stuff. And I know that's a blanket insult to the whole Horus Heresy player base because it's probably completely untrue. Probably completely true. But that's probably what Games Workshop think.
Maybe.
For them to make that decision, they must think that the only way that they can sell this is if they keep it with a rule set that's dead. And, I personally think that 8th edition was the best thing they could do for 40k at the time. 9th edition's been great. 10th edition sounds like it's going to be really good. And the main reason for it is because you don't have to sit and spend ages looking through rule books. And you don't have to have... I mean, if you've seen the size of the Heresy books, you might be like, I only have to bring my rule book and my army book along. But they are bigger than the Bible, They're thick as hell. And they're just like... If you carry those two books with you, and then you've got all this resin for your army, even though a lot of it's plastic, not all of it is, you're just going to be like broken by the end of the day, you know? And it's like, what? And the books are full of rubbish. And like, I tried playing a couple of games and it's like, oh, how does this weapon special rule work? So I looked in the special rules in the rule book. It's not there. So then I had to look through the pages of special rules that's in the faction book. And it's just like, oh, and it's just loads of silly things. And it's like, I'm sure that it's fun if that is your only game that you play, but it's not a good way of getting new players in.
I will defend Games Workshop on that because bolt action, for example, sometimes trying to find a special rule in that game.
Don't get me started on the way they
you
write
go
books.
to the bit and it says, turn to page 17, and you turn to page 17 and it goes, yeah, no, it's like a choose your own adventure book to find the rule.
It doesn't even do it like that. What it does is it goes like, say you want to figure out how high explosives work in bolt action. It's like, oh, right, this is a HE weapon. HE weapons were first used in 1743, blah, 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 blah. And they waffle on for 2 paragraphs, and then it says, turn to page 40. And you go there, and then it's more waffle. And the rules are like 1 or 2 sentences, like less than 20 words.
We need someone to go through and just pull those bits of rules in.
And like they would make so many people happy if they just like put a rule set out that didn't have all that gumph in it. I mean, like Games Workshop, you read their rules. They've got in their core rule books, it's full of like narrative and rubbish and telling you how to collect an army and all this kind of stuff. But the actual rules are condensed into a very small area.
I do like that when they put in those little summary boxes at the end of each like rule.
Oh yeah.
It just says, yep. This
-1 to hit. You know, something like that. Yeah.
Too long didn't read. -1 to hit. But I was going to say with the Heresy players, because I tried Heresy, they always remind me of like the Dark Souls get good players.
I don't get it right. Heresy looks amazing. The model kits the new plastic kits are absolutely fantastic. The vehicles are the best vehicles they've ever made for Marines anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Everything's excellent. And then the rule set is like a step back. I know it's 7.5 instead of 7, but it's just like, well, I was reading it. I was like, oh my God, this is hard work to read. And it's like, why don't you just make it like 40k is now, 9th edition? They could have made it like 9th edition, or they could have made it kind of a bit more like 10th edition if that's what their plan was. And then just have different things. Don't have stratagems, have your reactions and your other things that you can do. Have that as the differences. But and the other thing, I'm moaning about whether you're in the front arc or side arc and all those things, and people get their laser lines out, and then you go, well, actually, this piece of building's giving this. It's just, I want to be able to play a game in a few hours and also have fun whilst doing it. I don't want to have to play a game in 5 hours and spend the whole time arguing and checking through books. You want to play like apocalypse level games with Heresy, really. You want to be playing huge games, loads of models. And if you've got a rule set that encourages arguments, it's just going to bog it down and slow it down.
Yeah.
And Heresy used to be the game where the players all were like making sick conversions and really nice paint jobs and all of that kind of stuff. And then one of the guys who comes here, who's a friend of yours, I won't mention his name, even though we're moaning about a game he loves. He was meant to be going to a tournament last weekend for Heresy, and he wanted to use some kind of converted models that he'd done, which couldn't be used as anything else in game.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let him. And it's like, well, surely that's the whole point of Heresy. And it was laws, it fitted the law of the army he was running and everything, and they were just like, no. So it's like, well, if you're turning it into a serious war game, don't have crap rules for it. Or Games Workshop, start investing in specialist games and giving them staff that can actually make changes.
Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be. I was expecting it to be more popular with the new release, but it seems
I've sold lots of it, but no one's playing it. I don't know where they play it. Maybe the only people that play it play it in the garage or something like that.
I don't necessarily know. I think maybe a lot of it, like you said, the models are fantastic, right?
People just want the models.
It feels like the newer stuff that Games Workshop are releasing, especially the AOS stuff, the Heresy stuff, and the newer 40k stuff is all really, really, really nice. One of the Tyranid things they've said about on this new 10th release is there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be new Tyranid kits, right, and retools.
Yeah, they've done a Termagant. They've shown a Termagant, haven't they?
And I think they're going to look fantastic, because if anything, new sculpts are anything to go by from the other game systems they've got, I think there is a next step.
Yeah. No, I think, they Games Workshop likes saying that they're a model company first or a miniatures company first or whatever they call themselves. even their stuff that comes out that is less popular still looks amazing. Like, I've got a load of the Desolation Marines that came out, and people were really slagging them off online because of the guns and stuff. But I've got them, and I built them, and I look at them, and I'm like, I really like these.
Well, we said
for a bad sculpt, they look amazing. And you know, people complain about Games Workshop's prices, but the quality of what they do is amazing.
I've never had a dodgy one.
I've seen a couple, but
I mean, for the volume
that I do, that's fine. But they normally mispack more than anything else, so they might not put bases in or something. But all of the money that Games Workshop are making, and people say they're charging too much and stuff, but all of that money is clearly being reinvested wisely, or the majority of it is, because everything they do is high quality. You know, you look at their painting videos and their lore videos and all of that stuff, and the studio looks great. The presenters look tidy for gamers.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
They're not there with like food all down their front and stuff like that. Biscuit crumbs in their beard like I normally have.
There's an insight into Jim's life.
But the other thing I like about Heresy players is they're actually really nice people. Yeah. I've not met one that I don't like. I just don't like the rules, basically. Sorry, Heresy players. Someone loves you.
But not Games Workshop. Okay, we've done enough about 40k and Heresy. Games Workshop stuff now. We've done that because we've been going on for about half an hour. So are there any other games that you like to play that are like other board games? Obviously, it's a game store. That you like to have a game of, and it's just one game and it's done. So not the. So I know we like the what the fuck Descent stuff, but that's that's a campaign. Yeah, that's a campaign thing. One thing, something you can just unpack. You can play it for an hour or something, and then it just goes away.
I always forget the name of it. It's the Terraforming Mars one.
Oh yeah, it's Terraforming Mars.
Yeah, I love that game. I think it's brilliant. I played it a couple of times. Is an hour, 2 hours. You can have a laugh. It's what they call, beer and pretzels game, right? You can chat to people whilst you're playing it, enjoy it, and there is a competitive element to it. It's quite good fun. The Dungeons and Dragons game was good that we played.
Yeah, that is for like ages 6 and up, so that's probably why you liked it.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, it's got chewable dice, so
there's basically like a random dungeon crawl, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, with like you've got to get to a certain tile, and as you explore, you open tiles up. That's quite fun.
I liked that game we played with Matt, even if Matt went out of his way to try and ruin the experience. That Imperium game.
Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed that. I thought it was a game I hated, but that's called something else. So I'm still not sure what game it is I hate. One of my old gaming buddies had it, and it was like you had to try and take planets. But I basically got into a position where I couldn't possibly win because I was doing too well. And it sounds stupid, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, well, I can't win now. Rubbish. Who designed this? Rules writers. Sack yourself.
Yeah.
Hire someone new. If I would say I really like Carcassonne, Catan.
Carcassone's brilliant.
Yeah,
love that.
Carcassone's really easy.
Yeah.
Ticket to Ride's really good fun. I try to think of some that aren't campaign driven.
No, it's kind of campaign driven. But have you tried the new Hero Quest? I've not tried it.
No, I haven't. I think we need to open a box up and play it.
I think we do need to play it actually.
Because I
had it as a kid.
Broadsword.
And obviously now they've called it the Hero Quest campaign system, right? Because
there's like 5 or 6 expansions already. Yeah, actually the expansions are quite affordable. The main core box is not cheap, although for board games, I mean they're all getting more expensive because card stock's going up, isn't it? Other quick play games I like.
Available at Games Bunker, by the way.
Yeah, I do have it on the show. I like Love Letter. That's really quick fire, good fun. Yeah. Basically, it's a bit of a bluffy sort of game and stuff like that. And what's the other one that's quite quick? Dungeon Mayhem, which is a D&D game, but instead of you're all adventurers, but you're actually fighting against each other instead of helping each other out, which is just like a normal D&D session. If you look at any of the groups that come here, there's always 1 or 2 of them that are.
What was the game that we played where we've got to go and rob stuff?
Burgle Bros.
Burgle Bros. Yeah, I hated that first time.
Yeah, first time we played it.
Sean was like, we've never lost this fast, and we played 2 games.
And it was almost like instantly, right?
I was like, this game's rubbish, Sean. Oh, but I made my own tower for it.
You did make your own tower with lollipop sticks.
But
I enjoyed it. Second time we played it, it was.
Yeah, we smashed it the second time.
We got
really
out,
good.
didn't we? Pizza, taco.
Oh, taco
goat.
cat.
I was going to ask about that.
Goat cheese
So,
pizza.
wait, I've been playing that. So with my partner and her 8-year-old daughter, it's a game we tend to play on a Sunday night. We took it to my brother's the other day. So there was 6 of us playing it, and it gets so manic because obviously the kind of premise is you've got all these cards. It's almost like a reverse snap. So you've got all these cards with pictures of goats, pizza, cheese, and all those things. And you have to, so it's designed that you flip the card outward so you don't see it before anyone else does. So you might flip it over and go pizza and it's cheese, and you're like, great, goes to the next person. They say cheese, it is cheese, and then you all have to like put your hand on the pile straight away.
It's like super snap.
Yeah, and then like people start getting more and more nervous the more and more cards that are there. But then the interesting mechanic of it is when you run out of cards, you don't win. You have to keep saying the next thing in sequence until someone loses it. So if you get your hand in before them, that's when you win the game. So you can still lose and end up with a massive
so you have to
cards.
lose all your cards and then get in.
And then not be the loser.
Be the loser. Right.
But it's really good. I mean, we've nearly broken fingers and dislocated hands and stuff.
Accidentally punched someone in the face, even though it's nowhere near the table. Yeah.
When my partner played it with her son and her daughter, he's in his 20s, he'd done the groundhog thing, and where you bang the table, and then basically did a Hulk smash on their hands because like his brain was like, I still need to smash, and nearly broke his sister's fingers. But it's brilliant. It's a great game.
She probably didn't need them.
It's one of those things where I can imagine.
Don't grow back.
If you drank every time you got it wrong, it could turn into a real mess.
Oh, don't get me started on games you drink with.
I'll tell you what another game is I like actually, which isn't really a board game, but it's kind of something that can be off the shelf. Is X-Wing. I really enjoy it.
Oh, X-Wing, you say?
Yeah. It's
available now at the Games Bunker.
Yeah, I do sell it, but it's not. No, it's not. I just think it's kind of. It is very beer and pretzels. You could quite easily just have mess around and chuck your ships down. It can be really competitive, which is I think the downside to it in my view. But I like just I think I like building squadrons that are kind of like based off some of the films and stuff like that.
So that's not the pre-painted one.
Yeah, it's pre-painted.
That's the pre-painted.
It's the squadron. It's the individual little fighter ship one. But the problem is with almost every single game out there is you can get too competitive with it, I think, and it can put a lot of people off. Like obviously, if you love being competitive, that's great, but then you're going to have to find some very select people to do that with.
So we've brushed upon the players for Heresy. Do certain types of people
gravitate
towards certain games? Have you noticed a trend in that sort of thing?
Do you mean like personalities?
Yeah, personalities.
Not in general, yes, but not specifically.
In 40k, do you get more competitive players in 40k than in the other game systems?
No. Right. Yeah, probably more in 40k than in some other game systems, but not in all other game systems. I would say the most competitive players are normally in the card games.
Ooh. Yeah, that's
Magic,
true.
Yu-Gi-Oh! They're looking for the Alpha Strike game win. Quick games. They want to win their round real quick and smash it out. And that's not to say that all the players in that game are like that, but I would say the people who are most like that are in those. There definitely are players like that in 40k and in Age of Sigmar, not necessarily so much in some of the other smaller games, but the most popular games definitely have those people. They're more those people are more, that personality type is more noticeable in those games. But that could just be because it's more popular, so there's more of them in to be noticed. Yeah, and there are. If you look at the overall community if you look at the overall 40k community, there's a lot more compared to like AOS. So just comparing those two games, there's a lot more academy style groups out there that will you can like pay a subscription to or whatever to learn how to be better at the game. It's a proper business now. And you know, the academies are proper businesses and all that kind of stuff. And it just shows you how mainstream Games Workshop are becoming, that their game systems enable other people to make money like that.
Yeah, it's an
because it's not even Games Workshop making that money.
No.
And Games Workshop are giving people, you know, like, I mean, I know I moan about not being given information until the same time as everyone else, but obviously these sort of academies and things like that are being helped by Games Workshop a lot of the time. They'll get preview copies of stuff and things, or at least that's the impression I get. I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but so they're encouraging it. They want it because that competitiveness encourages people to buy the new meta, doesn't it? Yeah. You know, and like how many people that go to these tournaments are running the latest army or the latest meta to deal with the latest army. Yeah. But yeah. So I guess back to we were talking about personality types. I mean, there are definitely games where casual people play more than others, but those games aren't as popular. And I think that's why the casual people go to them, because they're not as popular, so they're not as competitive. There's normally one person, though, that say ruins the fun for everyone. I don't mean it literally, but there is normally one or two people in amongst a group. Say there's like half a dozen players in something, there might be one or two that win every game, because the rest of them just don't care. You know, like Necromunda or Blood Bowl or those kind of games where you're advancing a team or, you know, gaining experience and stuff. And like even when our crusade that we're running here, there's definitely people who are there to smash it.
Yeah, and I was about to say there's a lot of fun in the crusade, but then you come up against that one player who's like, right, I've brought this 200-point army to this 200-point character to a 500-point army, and it's just like, well, that's not much fun. It's just ruined it. This wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy that.
Here's the loot.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, cool. That was a waste of half an hour.
But that's how I feel sometimes about the 1K games. Is they seem to be quite a fun game where you can have a not meta list, and then someone will have a 500 points of their list is one model.
The problem with 1K, 40K, is that every now and again you will come up against something you can't deal because you don't have enough tools in your box. Mm-hmm. And you can have the biggest box in the world.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got the right tool in it, you know, and so obviously in 2K, you've got more chance of having more variation in your units. And I think that's the issue. But then, like you said, someone might turn up with Mortarion to a 1K game. And if they get the jump on you, that's it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like if we looked at the results from that tournament, obviously that you did lose that first game with that because you got pinned in your deployment and couldn't move. If you'd have gone first, you might have killed Mortarion.
Oh yeah.
But also, if you look at that player's other games, there wasn't like every game was a smash.
No.
So it's just an unfortunate.
That's the alternative, though, right? If you bring 200-point model and it goes, you've lost.
It could win you the game or lose you the game.
Yeah.
And that's the whole fun of running a list like that, isn't it? It's you know, and this person is not malicious. They're not nasty. They're not a power gamer.
He's really nice.
He's one of the nicest guys you'll meet, and it was just an unfortunate series of events.
He made me a coffee after as well. So
yeah, he did. Well, he had a big grin on his face.
Yeah,
I've never seen him so happy. He's like, Mortarion's finally done something.
Yeah,
it's like good. Now go back to your corner.
I think it's because I killed his Mortarion before, but also because last time we played, I broke the wing off of it.
Oh, so it was vengeance.
Yeah, because he put it on top of a rune, and then it got knocked off.
Didn't you joke about it instead of saying sorry as well?
Yeah, I asked if it was bracketed now.
So this is all because of your eyes, right? Because you can't see it that one side.
And then I
couldn't see it. Sorry. Yeah. So talk back to personality types. I would say the majority of people in game systems are massively varied in personality type. But yeah, the most popular games, you kind of notice there's the most
you get
power gamey, I guess we would have used to call it.
You have your 1%. You have 1% in all
kind of have your little cliques, but not in a bad way. You'll have a group of people that kind of like go, oh, we'll play together because this is what we've come for. We've come for the fun part of this. And then then you find out who the power gamer is, and like some people will move out of a clique and into another one because it's like, well, I've beaten this lot, they're rubbish, they only come for a laugh, and you want a more serious challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there are people who don't come here because they're not getting enough challenge.
And the boot camps are great for that because it'll be like, right, so I know that this person needs to play this person because I think that would be a good matchup for them.
Because the thing is, though, like here, the people who, like, if we just look at 40k, because that is the community that I'm probably most interactive with when it comes to, like, I play the game, you know. If we look at that, there are a handful of people who come down here who are competitive. And they do bring nasty lists, and they will spank you with those lists and make you feel like you're an inferior being. But they do it in such a nice way that you never feel like they hate you or they're malicious or anything like that. I was going to say this. Like, and I think that's something. Whether that's just here, whether we're lucky that we've encouraged that kind of community where people are like, here you go, I'll pick you back up now that I've beaten you down, you know?
Yeah, I tend to find that they're the people that have a similar sense of humour to myself. Like, and then
we're not allowed to use that in the podcast, though.
And then we game, and it's like, oh, actually, they're taking all this really seriously. Whereas, I think that's a thing for me to take up with my therapist about whether or not I take my life seriously enough.
I think, yeah. The people that win in general win. When they're in the game, they're in the game.
Yeah.
You know, they're not messing around very much.
Are you going to get Lion?
I'm going to get the Lion.
Do you think he looks good?
I think the Lion looks amazing. I think his 9th edition stats look great, but I don't care. Why haven't you just shown us what he does in 10th edition? He's going to get like a month of play, maybe 2. It's like, what?
I saw people already moaning about with Lion's Shield that it doesn't give +1 to his save, unlike Blade Guard shields.
Is that why he's got him with him?
But it's not a Storm Shield, is it?
No, but it does, and it does.
It's the Emperor's Shield or something like that.
If you roll 6 to save, it does
I
more
tell you
wound.
what,
Yeah, reflects wounds, yeah.
They literally ripped all of the Emperor's stuff off him, didn't they? Bobby G.
Well, he doesn't need it anymore.
What no question. Easier
Whoever
to
their
paint than Bobby
sculptors
G.
are, their sculptors are, need to be paid lots of money. If they're not paying them like 50 grand a year or more, then they're making a mistake because you don't want to lose them to someone else.
No, and Charles Dance, I'm totally seeing that.
You can imagine him skinning a deer whilst talking to his son, couldn't you?
I love the fact they've done him in a runway pose. He looks like he's just about to spin on his heel and walk back up the catwalk.
Oh yeah, wiggling his bum.
Yeah. Just work it, and those 2 people with him. What are those 2 things with him?
The Watchers in the Dark, I think.
Yeah, they look like they're just shouting, "Work it, baby! Work it, baby!"
It's just Grogu with his hood up.
What was the thing in He-Man?
Oreo.
The floating thing.
Yeah.
That's what they are. Just painted wrong.
What's their job? They just walk around.
Oh, talking about He-Man,
scabbard.
we need to do a shout out for He-Man, who's currently living in Ecuador, who asked us to mention his name. So that's a shout out to you. Hopefully you'll find someone who can speak English over there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool. Fine.
Yeah.
We should wrap it up.
Definitely, because I need to open up.
And I've got to cut out like half of this already.
Yeah, but you need to cut out all that bit in the middle where I got upset.
Yeah.
The tirade. But leave that bit in about us talking about the tirade that they can't hear.
Yeah.
What tirade?
Yes.
Deny it.
He's going to edit the bit about heresy so it sounds like I just hate them.
I don't even need to edit that.
Yeah. What should have we got any ideas for topics for next time? There'll be more 10th edition stuff by the
Obviously, more 10th, more stuff about. We need to. Maybe we could talk a little bit about one of the other games that we play, which is like a bolt action or something like that. You know,
a non-Games Workshop
a non-Games Workshop game.
That would be great.
We can talk about one non-Games Workshop product,
and then we can go
for
back
a little bit longer,
and then we go back
and
to
then
Games
still
Workshop.
tie it back into Games Workshop like we did with Warlord Games.
We can talk about Jim's recovery after the beating from the Heresy players that he's taken.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean? They were just.
He slipped and fell. He slipped and fell down the stairs.
None of them are going to come play games now.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh.
Have you watched that film yet? Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You have.
I feel like I need to watch it. Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
I think you should. Oh no, you can't watch it tonight. You're going to watch John Wick.
Yeah, but I can watch 2 films in one night.
I don't think you can. I think you'd be too upset about Lance Reddick being dead.
Yeah, that's sad news.
I really liked him.
What are they going to do in Destiny now when you keep going and going, I've got nothing for you?
he's like a major part of the fucking story.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they clearly have recorded the next 6 months already.
Oh, R.I.P. Lance Reddick.
Rip.
I guess we'll just fade out into darkness like we did last time.
Yeah. Should we say who we are?
Well,
They should know from last time.
What if they haven't listened to the last one?
So they should go back and listen to it.
Okay.
okay, wait a minute. So what I'm going to do is, I'll say who we are, but I'll put it.
Oh, okay.
So, welcome to
Jurassic Park.